Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 92 of our Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. This month, we are focusing on spiritual well-being, spiritual health, and our goals. Our goals in that area, as well as how our spiritual well-being impacts all the other areas and aspects of our life. With respect to the life framework, I use a 9-part life framework, have for since 2021 actually only. I used a 7-part life framework prior to that: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. And then following the pandemic and all the craziness that brought into my life and everybody else's life that I knew, I added confidence and communication, 2 core skills that we need to all have and continue to develop throughout our lifetime to create the life that we want. So we'll talk about each one of those in detail for a month of this year's challenge as we're setting and achieving and learning all about goals and goal setting and goal achievement and just goals in general. It's Get Your Goals Annual Challenge. So we're talking about goals pretty much every day. So our topic today is our spiritual core values and goals. And one thing I've learned over decades of trial and error is that if I know who I am and I know what's most important to me, which are my core values in each of the different areas and aspects of my life, decision making becomes easier. Knowing what to do becomes easy. Dealing with challenges and the things that pop up in all of our lives, it becomes easier because I know that I'm going to make decisions that are right for me based on what's most important to me. And that begins with me understanding and knowing what my core values are. So every year, and I've done this for several years, in each of these different areas and aspects of my life, I have thought about and literally written down what are my core values in each of these areas. So today we're going to look at what are my, and you're going to look at as your action item, what are your at least 1 to 3 primary, most important core values with respect to your spiritual well-being, your spiritual health, your spirituality. Yesterday we talked about our spirituality is our connection to something bigger than ourselves. It's a connection to our purpose or why we're here on the planet, things like that. And some people explore and do a lot of work in this area of personal development. Other people go through their entire life without really ever even thinking about it or contemplating it. I know I just did what my parents did, right? My mom was Catholic, so all my sisters and I were raised Catholic. And I never really questioned my spirituality or my beliefs until I got older and I actually, I'd been confirmed Catholic. I'd gone through all the CCD and all the classes and everything. And I went to church every Sunday for the most part when I was younger. And it wasn't until I was older and really until I had a sudden cardiac arrest in 2010 that I started to say, oh, I get to choose and decide what feels right for me. And that's when I went on a pretty big personal journey to figure out what was right for me, not only with respect to spirituality, but with every area and aspect of my life. It was a huge wake-up call, let's just say that. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to think about and we're going to pay attention to what is most important to us with respect to our spiritual well-being and our spiritual health, because that's going to help us set and achieve our goals in that area. It's going to keep us motivated. It's going to help us make those decisions and choices. So what are some examples of spiritual goals and not spiritual goals, spiritual core values? Honesty, trust, kindness, compassion, generosity, respect, tolerance, patience, authenticity, being yourself, openness, hope, love, spiritual growth, evolution, transcendence, whatever you want to call different areas and aspects of and different core values with respect to spirituality. It's up to you, because you not only get to decide which ones are most important to you, you also get to define and decide what they mean. What things mean to us is more important than what they mean to anyone else on the planet, right? How I define trust or kindness or generosity is my definition, my reality of that value and how that will show up in my world and how I will express it. And the same is true for you. How I define hope, for example, is different than how other people define hope. Most people see hope as a really, really positive thing. I see hope as a neutral or not necessarily a positive thing. I guess I see faith differently too, right? We all get to define and decide what they mean to us. So all we're going to do today for our action item is if you don't have a list of possible spiritual core values, just Google it online, or I guess you could probably ask the AI nowadays to Chat GPT or something, you know, what are some spiritual goals or spiritual core values? See, goals, values, I get them mixed up. Goals, not goals. Core values. What are some spiritual core values? And you'll get other people's lists. You'll get organizations lists. You'll get different businesses lists. And you can just look through those lists and say, what feels best to me? What feels and resonates the most to me? I haven't picked my 3 yet for this exercise, so I will do that too. Usually authenticity or being myself is one of the biggest ones, and that comes up in a lot of categories, as does love. So sometimes I like to pick different ones that I know are going to come up over and over and over again, because at the end of the day, I do it for each of the different areas and aspects of my life. Then I look at the list and I see where the overlaps are, and I narrow those core value lists down. So I'm not making decisions based on, I have 9 times 3 would be 27 different core values. I very well have 27 different core values, and probably even more than that. I probably have hundreds of core values in varying degrees, but some are of higher priority than others. For example, love is usually my #1 priority of core value, because if I make all my decisions and all my choices based on love, I'm going to make better decisions than if I make it based on 10 or 11 things. All right, so that's our assignment for today. That's our action item. Think about your spiritual core values and share at least one in the comments below. That's it. Have an awesome day. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow.